Welcome to the 8th season of the revised Doctor Who franchise. Well, technically not yet, because the first episode of the 8th season actually only airs next week, but I wanted to share a certain theory I have for the new Doctor. And no worries, this is no spoilers, and on the other side, I don't want to hear any spoilers. What you are going to hear is basically just a theory I came up with myself. Maybe I should be proven right in the upcoming season, and then I can be like, I told you so. Or it turns out I was wrong and nobody actually cares about it. First, let's talk about the facts we know. For those who didn't know before from the original show, Matt Smith was so nice to explain in the last Christmas special, Time of the Doctor, how the regeneration cycle of Time Lords work. They have the ability to regenerate 12 times, giving them the ability to develop 13 different personalities and faces. In the case of Doctor Who, it was all a little bit confusing and all over the mess. The 10th incarnation of the Doctor was never called the Doctor, and we only got to know about his existence at the very end of the 7th season. David Tennant, the 11th Doctor, but as Matt Smith pointed out, he actually regenerated in his time because, well, we all know that he doesn't like to go. Basically, Matt Smith might be the 11th face of the Doctor, but actually he is the 13th incarnation of him. This pretty much meant that it was supposed to be over. He had lived his entire regeneration cycle, but he regenerated once more. Now about my theory. First of all, he literally used the words a completely new regeneration cycle. He goes on a little bit about how this is a very special thing, a very big thing, and that he actually had this reset where he was turned young again for a moment after he actually outgrew his entire lifespan. This, in combination with two other facts, created my theory. The other fact is Tom Baker's cameo as a curator at the end of the Day of the Doctor. Many fans of especially the old series pointed out, well, John Baker never grew to be this old. He cannot be. We saw him regenerate at a younger age, so it doesn't add up. He cannot have lived a long life until he became a curator and then died and regenerated in whoever came after him. I'm sorry, I only came into Doctor Who with the new series, so I am a little bit clunky on the old one. So where does this Tom Baker-ish incarnation of the Doctor come from? Where does it fit into his life? Well, let's move on to my next clue I had. The new Doctor, Peter Capaldi, asks Clara one question. How do you fly the TARDIS? Apparently he lost quite a bit of his memory as well. And he also looks like a more straight old dude. Like, you know, a certain other incarnation of the Doctor we have already seen. Basically, my theory about the upcoming seasons and incarnations of Doctor Who is that he is actually going through his entire original regeneration cycle once again. Meaning that his following incarnations will be reinterpretations of all his original, well, 11 forms, because, I don't know, does a War Doctor count as his entire own form? Yeah, basically what I'm going to say is, all his old incarnations, all that have been loved and idealized over decades, literally, I mean, Doctor Who started in the 1960s, they all will be interpreted. They will go through the same Doctors. He is supposed to be the new interpretation of the first, and he will be followed by a new interpretation of the second and the third, and so on. This would explain everything. This would explain why there is an incarnation of the Doctor who looks like Tom Baker but grew old. He will visit his Tom Baker state of his cycle once again, and this time he will not regenerate at a young age, he will grow old and become a curator and then regenerate in the next form of the Doctor. I can already kind of figure that some people are kind of like crying out like, oh god no, they cannot do this, they cannot destroy, they will destroy all those incarnations. No worries. I don't see it as they try to rehearse the old generations and try to do over again what they already did. No, I am very, very sure that they're going to give each and everyone a new spin, because Peter Capaldi already looks more energetic and different than the first Doctor did. So I see that they still will all of them give a new modern twist, that they will create a set of completely new Doctors which will only be inspired by the old original ones. And I expect them to take a lot of liberty with the reinterpretation of all those old beloved Doctors. I kind of still hope to see a female Doctor at one point, because goddammit, he was so eager to become a ginger once, or a female, and he was always like, oh, I'm male again, and still not ginger. So maybe we are going to see one of the old Doctors, but as a female, which would be a really interesting twist on it. Not to mention that they all are a more modern version of them. But also, I could be completely off, because as I said in the beginning, this is just my theory I had based on basically only those 3 clues. Tom Baker's reappearance, the fact that the Doctor says it's an entire new cycle, which kind of makes Peter Capaldi the first Doctor in the new cycle, no matter how you look at it. If he is a homage to the original first Doctor, well, time will tell us. And of course, the third clue, that apparently there was some kind of reset. He forgot how to fly a TARDIS. I'm very curious where things will go. I don't really expect them to reveal what's going on in the first episode. Maybe they haven't even thought about what this new regeneration cycle means, and it just happens that Peter Capaldi kind of shows certain similarities to the original first Doctor, like being old, grey-haired, and a little bit grumpy looking and stuff like this. Well, this is my theory. Completely not based on any press releases, producer comments or anything. As I said, I am completely unspoiled about known facts and I want to stay this way. This was just my theory, a fan theory. This is AnY saying see you soon.